So I'm going to be honest with you. About 5 weeks ago, I went through one of the worst periods of burnout I have ever experienced. And I really seriously thought maybe I'm at a point where it's just time to hang it all up. Maybe we're done. Maybe we need to sell some of this stuff off. And I was exhausted. I want to give you the ways that I got myself out of that mode and reinvigorated and excited about the future where I am now, where I am more excited than I have probably ever been as a business owner and a coach. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Cheer Biz Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Cotton, and today we are diving into what happened when I got super burned out and how I got myself out of it. Now, before we get into the episode, make sure you are in Cheer Gym Owners on Facebook and All-Star Cheer Coaches and Owners. You're in both of those groups. And if you've ever wanted to learn directly from me in person, I know you may listen to me and feel like you learn a lot from me on the podcast, but if you've ever wanted me to look at your gym or wanted to learn from me and Danielle and Shelly and some of the other next gen owners, but you weren't quite ready for the academy, then you need to get to one of our Cheer Biz Accelerator events. Now, the first one at the time I'm recording this is coming up just a week from now, like 7 days from now. We will be ending day one of the Cheer Biz Accelerator at my facility. And then our next one is in Missouri in January. And then we just added another one because the Missouri one is already pretty much sold out. So we added another one in February. So we are trying to make sure that there is enough opportunities for all of you to experience this. And we'll be doing this for the next couple of years, I imagine. But you got to get to one of those events. They're just absolutely going to be phenomenal. And I'm super pumped to see a bunch of gyms and really dive into things at a deeper level than we can do at the average conference. So super excited for that event. Make sure you get to one of those. If you are interested, you can hop on with our team and learn more about them and if they're a good fit for you. All right, so let's get into this episode. So I first noticed this starting at the tail end of our camps in Oregon. It was the last week of camp, and I was pretty much done with our residential camps at that point. I had some travels for choreography and private camps and things like that, but we were ending the summer, and full transparency, the budget was not lining up quite right. And I've talked about this before. Basically, I did myself dirty 2 years ago, and I'm still kind of paying for it, where my profits aren't as high as I want them to be from my summer camps, and unforeseen expenses happen and those kind of things. So my profit margins weren't there. And I was looking at trying to do some bigger things, bring on some full-time staff throughout the year. And it was looking like those things weren't going to be possible. And so I was feeling really defeated, and defeated also because these venues are so expensive. And so feeling like I'm fighting this uphill battle of, in order to provide the service that we do, I either need to pivot to not doing something overnight at these facilities and do something more commuter style like some other providers do, or I need to charge more. Like, how do I make this happen? How do I continue to pay my staff a fair and reasonable wage and take care of them the way I want to? How do I continue to grow the way I like? How do I do the things I want to do? And I was feeling really defeated. I was listening to a podcast with Alex Hormozy, who is someone that I listen to a lot and distill a lot of his ideas down into my gym. And I've learned a lot from him over the years. And I was listening to this podcast where he was talking about, and he speaks in kind of high ranges, which some people would be like, that doesn't make sense. And he's like, any business can get to $1 million. Only a certain percentage get to $10 million. And that's kind of a big number. But he basically was like, any company is capable of getting to $100 million in revenue a year. It's just knowing how to do it. And I've said very similar things in regard to the cheer industry and running a cheer gym. But I was like, can a cheer gym get to $100 million a year? Probably not just offering cheerleading. Like, I don't know that that's really possible just due to a variety of constraints. I mean, maybe, but just one singular location, brick and mortar cheer gym, could that get there? Probably not. But I was like, man, why am I thinking small? I kind of was like, maybe I could get there. And so I was in that mode. And then the summer kind of went on and I traveled a whole bunch and I had no days off. I didn't sleep in my bed for more than 5 days this summer. And end of August rolled around And I was exhausted. I didn't want to go to my team's practices. Like I was excited to see my kids, but I didn't want to go to practices. I didn't want to do anything extra. When I was in my work mode, I was really struggling to like do work. I was finding myself more easily distracted. I was finding myself wanting to just like veg out and watch Netflix. And that's not really like me. Like I do like to watch movies, but that was just very out of character for me. I basically realized I'm getting really burned out. There were a few approaches that I took to get out of that mode, to get out of feeling like just giving up. Because I absolutely went through the thought process of like, okay, I can either continue down this path, which is the logical one. I can just try and get rid of all of this, or I can do what I ended up deciding to do, which is I'm going to go harder. I'm going to double down. So, I was with my camp stuff. I literally went through the thought process, and I'll talk you through how that went. The thought process of like, do I keep doing what I'm doing? Do I close it up and say, we've had a really good 10 years and I've made some money off of it, like made great memories, but like, I don't need to do this anymore, or sell it? Or do I try and like turn this into something I never thought it could be, like a truly national brand? And that's actually where I ended up settling. So side note, that's kind of an aside. So what were the tactics that I took? So number one is I think it is important to remind yourself of where you are and where you once were. It's very easy to be in the moment and be miserable and be frustrated and be tired with having to manage your budget or having to fix something in your building or deal with a complaint from a staff member or a parent. But it's also really important to remember that at one point you dreamed of being here. There was a point where, as a business owner, you dreamed of being that business owner. And now you're living out that dream. You're living out the thing that you used to pray for and dream of and think about all the time. And you're now there and you're not enjoying it. You're not remembering that journey to where you are. And it's certainly very relevant right now for me because we're in this new space and it sucked a lot out of me. I think that was part of the burnout was the move. Like we went literally from summit to the move to camp starting, and I like just never stopped. It was kind of a moment for me to sit in my new space and go, you've been dreaming of this. You've been dreaming of this building for the last months, and now you're here and you're complaining. Like you need to realize that you're living what you were hoping for. You're living what you wanted to get to. And that shift in mindset, I think, was really, really important for me. That definitely kind of shifted me out of that, like, woe is me, I'm so tired and I don't want to do it mode. Because everyone gets there. Everybody gets there. Everyone has those days that are hard. And like, this might be a really hard season in your life, but with the right mindset, you can get through it. And not only can you get through it, you can come out on the other side a better version of yourself. Number two was I got back to fitness. I had let that slide a little bit. I wasn't moving my body quite as much. And my excuse was, well, you're really busy. Like you're going to these gyms and you're doing choreography and you're doing camp. And so you're on your feet a lot and you're getting a lot of steps. But I let my actually being focused on my fitness slide. I stopped lifting, and that is an important thing for me. Now, maybe that's not it completely for you, but I recently was challenged by a mentor of mine to move my body and sweat for at least 45 minutes every single day. Every single day. And so I've been really trying to make myself do that, whether it is walking for 45 minutes and getting a sweat going, whether it is doing flexibility and mobility stuff that builds a sweat, or it's going to the gym and lifting and that more my standard kind of style. And I've actually stuck with it. I have not missed a day yet. Today was probably the closest I came. Luckily, my day today was out on the firearms range, which is a pretty physical activity. So I did build up a sweat out there, but focusing on my fitness, because what happens is when you exhaust your body, your mind can get a little bit sharper, right? We are not as anxious and antsy, and at least for me. So I have found that anytime I'm starting to burn out, I actually need to do the opposite of what I want to do, which is just lay down and, take a nap or veg out for a bit. That is not productive for me. Now, maybe it can be for you. Maybe that is your mechanism. But for me, getting my body in motion is way more important, right? That object in motion stays in motion kind of thing. That concept is so important for me. And when my body's moving, my mind starts moving better. And it just is so beneficial. And I found even just walking can be phenomenal. And when you walk, if you haven't done this, just challenge yourself this week to go on a walk for 30 minutes with no distractions. So don't listen to a podcast. You could listen to music. Don't listen to a podcast. So don't listen to my voice. Don't read a book or listen to an Audible. Don't even take your dog on the walk unless your dog is that like super awesome. They just walk with you and they don't stop and smell and cause distraction. Just go on a walk. Just be on your own and let your mind wander. And you will be shocked at how much good stuff you come up with as you're thinking. I'm not saying you can go, I personally can't. Like I cannot just shut my brain off. It doesn't work. I know there are people who can do it. I was actually really jealous in the Army because I was in the infantry, and one of the biggest things about being an infantryman is we walk. And so in IOBC, we had a couple different really long road marches where you're just putting a bunch of weight on your back and you're just walking and you train it. So it would be like, we're doing a 5-mile ruck or we're doing a 7-miler. And then you end your training IOBC with a 12-miler. And I think ours was like 13. And I hated every single ruck march with the fire of 1,000 suns. Like I could not have hated them anymore. I tried all the different hacks to distract myself, but like I just got really, really bored, right? Like my brain is going too often and too much that I can't just like shut my brain off and just slog. These other guys would be like, oh, I just didn't think about anything over the last 2 hours. And I'm like, I'm thinking about the fact that my back hurts and my feet hurt. And, there's more. I'm thinking about all the different things we can be doing and I'm bored. So I've actually found a love of walking. I just don't have a love of walking for 3.5 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours straight with a bunch of weight on my back. It's just never been something I super enjoyed. Anyways, I digress. Let's get back to the subject. So I get back to fitness. And when I get back to fitness, I find myself being more productive. I find my days being filled with more joy. I find my work product is increased because I am challenging my body and my mind, and I'm not staying sedentary. So I like to get moving to get myself out of a funk. Number 3 is I focused on family. I knew that I needed to reorient my priorities. My priority had been work, and that had been the number one focus. Is I was working absolutely constantly, and I needed to pivot. I needed to shift away from the focus of every day and everything I was doing being work and spend some time with my family. Now, that is an inevitability during camp season because camp days are long, full days. I needed to kind of pivot away from that. And in doing so, I found a lot more joy. I went on vacation with my family. We went to some parks and we had some experiences. And just doing that was such an amazing reset for me to not be burned out. The last thing that I kind of focused on was trying to work more efficiently, because burnout really isn't about the amount of work you're doing. It's about how efficiently you're doing it and strengthening your capacity to do the work. So I realized that I could be more efficient with what I was doing. So I could accomplish the same things I was doing or accomplishing without burning out as quickly. So it's less about just removing things from your plate, because what will inevitably happen is as you add things back on, then you start to get burned out again. So I want to increase my capacity. And the only way to increase my capacity is to work more efficiently. So I'm getting the same return out of a shorter duration of time. And so I really, really focused on batching my time more effectively and diving into that. So I knew really, really specifically what I was doing for periods of time. And I was focusing on doing at least 2 to 3 things that like fired me up and got me excited every single day. So I wasn't only doing the slog of like the things that I don't enjoy doing. I was actually enjoying myself and having some fun. And I think that is a really, really critical component to getting yourself out of that burned out stage. Do the things that are lighting you up, do the things that you enjoy doing in your business too. So those were the tactics that I took. If you are in a position where you feel burned out, I just want you to know that you're not alone. Other gym owners are there. Other business owners are there. You are not alone in that. If you need help, reach out. We have an amazing team at NextGen who can help you wherever you are at in your business, whether you're burned out or you have unlimited capacity and you want to take advantage of more opportunities. We're here to help you. So I would love for you to get on the phone with my team and become a part of our academy. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe and share this episode with those who would get something out of it as well. And with that, we will catch you on the next episode.